Greetings and congratulations on the 63rd anniversary of Uganda's independence. Mwena mukulukeyo amefuga. Initially, the journey of Uganda's independence was not smooth. By the 10th anniversary would have been, was 1972. By the 10th anniversary, Uganda was under a vicious dictatorship. And by the 20th anniversary, 1982, the small colonial enclave economy of the 3 C's and the 3 T's, which were coffee, cotton, and copper, and tobacco, tea, and tourism respectively, had collapsed, and Uganda was depending on magendo, smuggling, chivanda, forex black market, and kusamla speculation. In addition to the collapse of the economy, constitutional governance, democracy, and security of person and property had also collapsed. Indeed, between 1971 and 1986, an estimated 800,000 Ugandans were killed extrajudicially here in Uganda. In the Kololo Triangle alone, there are 33 mass graves, each with more than 2,000 scars of Wanga. Singa mugenda mu Kololo Triangle, mugenda kusangayo entaana 33, buli emu ebulimu obuwanga 2,000 n'emisobyo. Byonna twabikuuma gyebiri. It is from this situation that the NRM rescued Uganda. I am therefore most happy to report to the Ugandans that by June 2026, the economy of Uganda will be USD dollars 66.9 billion in size using the forex method, or US dollars 197.9 billion using the purchasing power parity method. This financial year, the economy will grow by 7%. After the flow of oil, the economy will grow by double digits. Bayinza kubalaga ku ntimbi amakolero agali wano kati oba entimbi zikola kubanga ezimu siziraba. Mutulage amakolero agali wano kati. Show us the factories. That is one of the factories, just one, but show us the overhead image of industrial parks. Okay, you can freeze that one, the other one, freeze it. The one where you were showing the industrial park from the air. Freeze that one. You can see that's just one of the industrial parks. That is now the one of Mbale. That's the one of Mbale. And you can see all the factories are new. It is important to be reminded that this economy was US dollars 3.9 billion in 1986. Since that time, I've told you before, the economy has gone through the following 5 phases. Phase 1, the minimum economic recovery of some of the 3 C's and the 3 T's, and the ending of the shortages, Ebola, of the so-called essential commodities. Phase 2, expansion of the economy, e.g., increasing the amount of coffee, increasing the amount of tea, and so on. Phase 3, diversification, by taking on board new items from the list of the subsistence items to commercial production, such as milk, beef, bananas, fruits, cassava, etc. Now, during the time of the colonial times, they would talk of cash crops as coffee and cotton and tea only, and tobacco. They didn't know that all our products were cash crops, like milk, like beef, bananas, cassava. If you can show us the dairy factories, search for the dairy factories, and when you get them, show them to us. Then phase 4, value addition to all the raw materials where the economics is right. And 5, the knowledge economy of science, technology, and innovation. First, show us the dairy factories, if you get them, and then get us the key. Okay, that's the dairy now. Please that one. Now all those, go back where you were. All those are products of the dairy from your cows. During the time of the British, although we had cows here, but you would find that we would be importing milk, powdered milk, condensed milk, and other types of milk from New Zealand, from Switzerland, from Denmark, from Kenya, our brothers in Kenya. But now, Uganda is one of the biggest producers of milk in the world, and we shall overtake all these other countries because we have got a lot of potential. Now, then phase 5 is the knowledge economy. Let the Rutimbi show us the Kira motors. Show us the factory first, and then the vehicles last. Show us the factory first. Those are your people fabricating electric vehicles, buses, cars, and other types. Those are all made here by your people, electric cars. Uganda is therefore unstoppable. Tewaliwo agenda kwekiika mu kkubo lyaffe ery'enkulaakulana. The only other issues we need to concentrate on are two. These are the economic integration of East Africa to ensure a big market for the wealth creators of East Africa, and the political integration of East Africa, resulting into the political federation of East Africa that will deal with the strategic situation of East Africa and even Africa. Now, ekisigadde ekikulu kwe kuteesa n'Abaganda baffe ab'e Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, Congo, Somalia, okunyweza akatale akawamu ak'ekitundu kyaffe. The wealth creators need to be sure of a big market. When we produce products, the market should be big enough to absorb all the products that are produced. But also, with East Africa, we are also working on the common market of the whole of Africa. And we have already reached the CFTA, the Continental Free Trade Area. However, in East Africa, we are also discussing the issue of the political integration leading to the Federation of East Africa. And the reason for that is that economic integration will deal with the economy, with the market. But how about defense and security? We need a tighter organization to be able to defend ourselves against all the threats in the world. A federation of the East African states would create a center of gravity for the black race and would create a defense potential that defends East Africa against all and any threats. I believe that it would have capacity to be present in all spheres of strategic security, in the air, on land, at sea, and in space. We are moving well in all sectors. We need, however, to get rid of some mistaken approach. This is the practice of kumemerera, kumamira, mu Luganda bakita kumamira, poro in Luo, scattering resources and trying to be everywhere and ending up being nowhere. On the roads, we have moved well. In 1986, we had 1,000 kilometers of tarmac roads. We now have 6,288 kilometers of tarmac roads. However, because of the mistake of kumamira, some of the tarmac roads that were due to repair or reconstruction were not attended to in time. Hence, you have some very good roads like the ones in Bunyoro, Lango, Karamoja, etc. However, you also have roads that have deteriorated because of delaying to rehabilitate or even reconstruct them. This kumerera makes budgeters try to put money into administration, new districts, cities, salaries of public servants, like the teachers who are striking, infrastructure, wealth creation, etc., scattering money thin over so many sectors and achieving little across the board. That is why in 2006, I made a very firm stand insisting on ensuring priorities among priorities. I insisted on putting more money on the roads and electricity. Hence, the budget for the Ministry of Works moved from 373 billion shillings in 2005 to 1,215 billion by 2010. The one of electricity moved from shillings 133 billion in 2005 to shillings 398 billion in 2010. That is how we're able to do so many roads, such as Orio Gulu, Kitugu Musingo, Soroti Katakwi Moroto, Mbarara Chikagate, etc. We're also able to extend electricity to almost all the districts of Uganda. The current backlog of repair and reconstruction of a number of roads is on account of not maintaining that prioritization among priorities. Omukusasanya sente za gavumenti si kirungi okumamira buli wantu noteeka akasente katono olina kuba bw'oteeka essira ebintu ebyetaagisa essaawa eno tulina okubiteeka ku essira ne tubimala ne biggwa si kusigala bitundu kitundu wano kitundu wali. Eri ewaffe enkole bwe balima mu ndimiro waliwo kye bayita olugezi olubimbi, osooka n'otwala olubimbi lumu kuva ku wansi w'endimiro kutuuka ku mutwe n'omala n'oddayo n'oleeta olubimbi olulala. Naye kati okulima n'otuuka wakati ate n'oddayo n'otandika olubimbi lw'otandise tolumaze, eyo si nkola ya kiyeekera. Fe abayeekera tutandika olubimbi ne tulumala. Ate ne tuddayo ne tutandika olubimbi olulala. Omunyankole bw'alaba olimako katono olubimbi ate n'oddayo n'otandika, agamba nti ogwo nazaanira omu musiri, onazaanyira mu ndimiro, si mulimi oyo azanyira mu ndimiro. Fortunately for Uganda, our oil is about to start flowing. Banange Katonda ayagala NRM nnyo. God favors NRM with special emphasis. The British were here for 68 years. And from 1920 up to 1956, they tried to look for the petroleum of Uganda, but they failed. They were looking for the petroleum because there were signs on the surface. There were seepages. In Bunyoro there, a place called Kibiro. Kibiro, Okubira, in our Runyakitara, means something boiling. So there was, you can see petroleum on the surface. Now the British tried to get the petroleum for almost 40 years, and they failed and they gave up. And they said maybe the petroleum was there, but it evaporated because of the volcanic activities. When NRM came, we discovered the petroleum. You show them where we are now. You freeze that one now. That is one. There in the background, you can see Lake Albert. Itwe ekipekekyo ntigeta mwitanzige ababisaka mwitanzige mugirozere. Atukuli enyima ekyo kya blue ekyo, that's like the blue is like Albert. Now that's one of the rigs digging a well in the Rift Valley, and this oil will start flowing next year. Fortunately for Uganda, our oil is about to start flowing. That will enable us to do more work at the same time. Even with the oil money, however, my strong proposal is that we concentrate budgeting initially on defense, the roads, tarmac and maram, electricity, education, health, water for drinking and for irrigation, the railway, wealth creation, PDM, UDB, ghetto funds, the science and innovation, like the Chira motors, like Magora. You show us Magora. Let's see Magora. The pharmaceutical, that's a huge facility supported by the government. Show us the overhead. That is a big facility initiated by one of our scientists, Magora, but supported heavily by the government. This is in Matugahia, just Matugahia. And that factory will produce drugs for cancer, for AIDS, for malaria, for diabetes, and all that. Your people here are able to treat diabetes, to treat cancer. All those treatments are now available here, and we can share them with the world. Now, salaries for some public servants, such as government scientists, the judiciary, the security personnel, etc. The economy is growing fast. With this prioritization, we shall soon be able to have enough money to cover more sectors. However, when you interfere with the above minimum areas of focus, you interfere with our economy's ability to grow. How would our economy be growing at 7% if I had not, in 2006, insisted on prioritizing the roads and the electricity? If I had not insisted on that in 2006, where would the electricity have come from? It is the more availability of electricity that is encouraging the rapid industrialization. So, in 2006, when I insisted and we put emphasis on roads and electricity, you see the results. All those factories are flocking here because of the electricity. There is enough electricity for now, but we need to again expand the electricity supply. The Uganda Revenue Authority needs to solve the issue of revenue losses. They are still collecting only 13 to 14% of GDP in taxes. If they are collecting 20% of GDP in taxes, with the GDP size of 66.9 billion, would be collecting about Uganda shillings 47 trillion in taxes. This would be a good level of government revenues. With the careful budgeting talked about above, and without the burden of paying debts that have the interest of Uganda shillings 11.3 trillion per year, would be quite comfortable, plus the robust growth we are already enjoying.